Hello, this is Laurie Parama and you're watching the Contemplations of Habits today. Now, if I had to summarize what habits really mean for me, I'd say that they are willpower juice. They are all the small things that I do around my day which enable me to be my best and perform my best throughout my day. Which means they top up the energy tank, they make sure that I always am in the right mindset to perform my best on the things that are most important to me, but not necessarily easiest to engage with because they're a bit more difficult or they're a bit challenging in some way for me personally. We are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle famously proclaimed that excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And if that's a little bit too severe and a little bit too scary, then just consider this. Habits are consciousness hacking tools. They're just a means to an end. They create the right level of energy and inspiration for you to live your life's purpose. And if they're definitely not glamorous, let's face it, they are, however, the mules that are pulling the whole circus of our lives, the work and the passion and the people we live around. If habits aren't glamorous, there's one thing that is absolute elegance about habits, is that they cut on our decision making. And neuroscience has shown that decision making is costly, and therefore any habit is removing that transaction, that friction we have about what should I do here. If there's an option that is ready-made and you don't even have to think what applies best here, then you're in a really great position to move forward faster and at lower energy cost. One important key point to bear in mind when thinking of habits is that they are much less about what you do than the way you think about something. Let me give an example. The best example I can find is food. For example, when you sit down to consume a healthy meal, it's done. All the decision makings and all the good habits happened before you sat down to eat. It's about what was the good nutrient, what was the right assembling of food, at what time of the week, at what time of the day. It's all those decisions, and that requires knowledge. But the thinking pattern about the food is the absolute achievement as to whether you're going to have a healthy meal or not. And for myself at least, when I changed the way that I ate, the absolutely most essential part of eating better was simply to change the way and reframe how I thought about food. Habits are a way to think about things. Very good. Now, what is the most valuable way to think about things to make your habits a success? For me, at least, is to love it. I absolutely love and look forward to and find way to look forward to the moment I'm going to perform a habit. Now, sometimes it can be about the habit itself. For example, doing yoga or meditation is inherently pleasurable for me. But for example, if it's something that is a bit harder, for example, sitting down to write or to read every day, if you're not enjoying the process as much, it's nice to find a sideline process that you enjoy. For example, ticking boxes, coloring something, or actually finding just a reward. I'll take a nice hot bath once I've done my 30 minutes reading. The point is that if you're dreading it, absolutely, if you're completely shying away, it's not that it's not going to work. It can work for a while, but it might not last in the long run, and it's a shame really to invest a lot of energy into pushing oneself to perform a new habit if it's not going to last. The second key point about habits for me is baby steps. And again, food is a perfect example here because eating healthy requires quite a bit of knowledge. And it also requires probably you to try several recipes to find your health and taste sweet spot. Right? So therefore, it's really important that you start really small so that the process of learning to eat better is a rewarding one. So usually when I recommend something about food, is usually to start with a healthy breakfast, right? It removes the pressure, it removes the daunting task of having to think about the whole day in one go, right? So, and also it's strategic because, well, in the morning, if you have something healthy on an empty stomach, you'll get more vitamins and nutrients anyway. But still, the baby step aspect is absolutely fundamental to me for you to follow through. And it's really valuable, for example, for exercise. If I do even just 3 to 5 minutes of yoga each day, I stay on the treadmill, I stay on the habit high, right? And next day maybe I'll do 20 minutes or half an hour or a proper hour. But the importance is that the reward system that goes into your brain and that fires whenever you keep your word up is extremely rewarding, and it's something you want to keep on your side, even if it's a really, really small baby step for one day. Okay, so a little recap. Habits might not be glamorous, but they are such an important means to an end, especially to create energy and inspiration throughout your day. I find that it's very useful to think of habits as patterns of thinking rather than things you do. And the best way to think about the things you do is to make sure that you absolutely love them. Find a way to either love the process or love the thing itself. And the best way to start a habit is to take it baby steps by baby steps. This was the Contemplations. Thank you so much for watching. Next week is one of my favorite topics, which is emotions.